Here we go. Oh, here comes Pepper. Today I will show you the ins and outs about all important shots, starting with the stunning shot and 2 tricks to manipulate the animation. Then the knock-on Really, Neymar? I'm recording. Go away. The knock-on finesse shot, including a trick making it easier. The knuckle shot free kick. The knuckle shot. The chip shot. The regular curl. The outside curl. And the default shot. I will also show you footage explaining when to use which shot, so you always know what the best option is. We begin with the stunning shot, which you do with R1 plus shot. It's a very powerful shot, but the problem is that your player, like here, slows down before doing it. Let me show you 2 tricks how to kinda circumvent this. There's 2 things you need to know. Number 1 is that at the end of the shooting animation, the player will always be close to the ball, otherwise he can't shoot. And second, when a player dribbles, there is a window where the ball is faster than your player. Now we use these 2 facts to our advantage. If we start the shot during the window where the ball is still fast and not too close to the player, the game has to move the player to the ball faster, because when the animation ends, the player needs to be close enough to shoot. I get slowed down a lot less. I even waited a bit to make sure a shot is the best decision. It can work even better. If you time this perfectly like here, it's almost one single motion and you don't really get slowed anymore. Try to start the shot just before the ball reaches maximum distance from your player. You can also start it a bit later like I did in the first example to see what the opponent does, but the later you start it, the more it slows you. That's not the only trick though. If you pass to a player who runs towards the ball and then charge a stunning shot fast enough, it will also be a seamless transition and no slow. Be careful though. If the ball is already too close to the player or the angle is bad, then the player will slow down and do an additional touch instead. Not good. Here you can see that you actually have to press pretty early. The ball is still quite a bit away, but he still didn't shoot instantly. About the strength, it depends a lot on who shoots and from where. In general, if it's a good shooter with, for example, the long-range shooting ability and high finishing, and you're close to the box, I would recommend 50 to 55%. If you are a bit further away from the goal, a bit more. If the shooter is bad, like a defender, I would go for way less. If you are interested in more tutorials, guides, card reviews, game mechanics, and other useful information, don't miss anything by subscribing right now. Let's move to the next shot, the knock-on finesse shot. I also have some tricks here. I'll show you my controller so it's easier. This is a very powerful variant of the finesse or curl shot and works even from far away, especially if the player has the long-range curler ability. Here you see the knock-on. This is done with R2 and the right stick. Players with the soul control ability have a better animation for this. What you do is you do the knock-on and almost immediately after it, you do a regular finesse shot using R2, the shooting button, and your left stick. I would try to use the left stick just like I did here. If you hold it all the way up, the player will aim further at the long corner of the goal. This means the chance of missing the goal is higher, like here. Only do this if you are further away from the center, like here. Be careful not to forget about the left stick and not to put it too far to the right, because if you do either, you won't do a finesse shot at all and it will look like this instead. Now some more advanced tricks for you. Since this shot requires a knock-on, doing it while you dribble can be hard when your opponent is not asleep. For this, we use input buffering. This is a technique where you already give the input way before the ball reaches your player. This way, you skip any first touches or dribble animations and instantly knock on instead. This also works with skills, by the way. Look how my input is already done here, yet is executed as soon as the ball reaches my player. Next trick. You cannot only knock in the direction you move, but also almost 90 degrees to the side. This is pretty useful because 1, you can change direction very late and not give away that you're gonna do a knock-on finesse shot, and 2, it makes you way more flexible. One more trick before I show you how to use it in division matches. This is very situational because you have to run in an angle very similar to this. You know, if you hold sprint but release left stick, your player will automatically stop and turn like this. Depending on where you are and the angle your player ran, you can use this to turn into a perfect position for a knock-on finesse shot. Look at this situation. My forward has almost no space, but using input buffering, I instantly knock on and shoot, and it works. I used a bit too few power here, by the way. From this position, you can use something like 60 to 70%, even a bit more with very good shooters. As usual, the further away from the goal goal, the more you use. But you see, the shot itself is so strong, the ball still went in. Or look at this situation, which might appear a lot after corner kicks. At this point, you know Vinicius Jr. has all the time in the world to do the knock-on finesse shot. You can also try to be sneaky like I was at this corner. One important tip from me though, try to save your first knock-on of the game for a promising position. It's the same mind game like with the dummy run. Your opponent might not expect it, but the first time he sees you trying it, he will know you can do it and pay a lot more attention from there on. Next up, the Knuckle Shot free kick. To do this from far away, use 90% or more power with the player that has the Knuckle Shot ability. Aim somewhere between the keeper and the post, or wherever you want, and just before the player kicks the ball, press shot another time. I use the left foot as a reference. As soon as it's about to touch the ground, I press for a second time. This is super exciting and looks absolutely awesome when it works. The problem is, at least to my knowledge, we have no influence over the ball's curve. Even if you do it similar, the ball might curve completely different, which means that this shot is absolutely unreliable. And that's probably good because otherwise it would be completely overpowered. I scored twice from 49 meters. Regardless, only use this for styling or if you like gambling. Now let's see if the Knuckle Shot is more useful outside of free kicks. Using it is pretty simple. All you have to do is do a stunning shot at about 50 to 60% power with a player that has the Knuckle Shot ability. Again, it looks super amazing when it works. See how it curves away from the keeper last second, but I'll be very honest with you. I personally, my opinion, would rather have a player without Knuckle Shot doing a regular stunning shot, because this Knuckle Shot is also very unreliable. A normal stunning shot won't suddenly curve and miss the goal. In my opinion, both of these Knuckle Shots are gimmicks. Next up is the chip shot, done with L1 and shot. I'll be honest with you, like at least 9 out of 10 times, this is mainly used for styling and profiling, and a regular curl shot would be a safer and better option. At this specific type of situation though, it's your very best option. When your player and their keeper move towards each other and are pretty close, then do the chip shot with like 30 to 40% more if you are further away from the goal. It's your best option because you have no time for the special shots, no angle for a curl, and no space for a default shot because odds are you'd shoot right at the keeper. Let's move to the outside curl. For this, obviously, your player needs to have the outside curl ability. If you run at the goal at a similar angle to this and do a curl shot, your player will do an outside curl instead of trying to curl with his weak foot. For the power, I would recommend a bit more than with a regular curl. Don't be afraid to use like 70 to 80% here. Outside curl is useful when you manage to find a hole in the defense but have the ball on your weak foot side. I would definitely recommend the ability on many center forwards. It's really good. Next up is the regular curl or finesse shot. I mean, since you've seen the knock-on finesse shot and the outside curl, you already know how this works anyway. This is easily my most used shot inside of the box. It's very precise, which is why many use it over the default shot. So use it whenever you have an angle for it, but no time or space for a knock-on. Against really good players, be careful when using this inside of the box and keep an eye on the opponent's keeper because they will move the keeper towards the long corner of the goal just before you shoot and stop your shot. In this case, super cancel and aim for the other corner. Like I explained in my other video, 9 secret uses of the super cancel. Last up, the default shot. You all know how to do this. I mostly use it outside the box when I have no good angle for a curl and no time or space for a knock-on finesse shot. Don't be afraid to try scoring with a default shot from further away by using enough power. Like look here, I score with around 65% strength from way outside the box. Or here, I use even more power and I'm rewarded for it. Or look at this beautiful shot with like 85% power. The thing is, if you're outside the box, weaker shots would probably be safe by the keeper anyway. So you can just use more power, risk that you miss the target, but increase your chance of scoring when it's on target. It's this simple. Let me show you one more situation where a default shot is the best option, sometimes even inside the box. I have no angle for any of the finesse shots and I'm so close to the goal that a stunning shot isn't necessary. There's a world where a chip shot works here, but it's risky because the window of success is very small. So your best bet is just a fairly hard normal shot. Sometimes that's just how it is. Thanks for watching. I hope I helped you. I'd love if you subscribed or liked the video. All questions into the comments. Until then guys, take it easy. Shaka!